Hello, so I'm going to go ahead and make that tutorial for the flower on the beanie that we did from Sweet Softies. It's called Baby's Lacy Springtime Beanie from sweetsofties.com. So we're going to do the flower. I'm going to do the beanie, but first I thought I'd get the flower out of the way so y'all can get started at least on the beanie, which it seems to be relatively easy, but don't worry, the tutorial is coming. So let's get started. I'm using a 3.75 millimeter hook, and then I'm using a number 4 yarn, which is Simply Soft by Yarn Inspirations. We're going to start off with the magic circle, and we're going to make 12 single crochets in that magic circle. Chain 1 first, then do 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Pull on that yarn tail and close that circle. There we go. Now we have to change colors, okay? So this is where we're going to change the color. I'm going to go ahead and do the color change my way. You can do the color change however you can do it. So I'm just going to go ahead. Actually, I'm going to do it just this way, make it easier. So there's our last chain, our last single crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into the very first double crochet, and single crochet, and I'm going to count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it should go in there. So I'm going to go ahead, insert my hook, grab my new color, pull it through, and there we go. Now we are going to cut this one off, but I'm gonna wait until I make at least one petal before I cut it off. So to start the petal, you chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and in that same slip stitch, that's where we're going to be working to make the petals. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and yarn over. We're going to do 3 initial yarn overs. The reason I call them initial yarn overs is because she has yarn over, and then she has insert your hook, and then she has another yarn over, so that's a secondary yarn over, and pull up. Okay, that's not the way I'm gonna read it. So the initial yarn over is gonna be this one, where we yarn over first before we go into the stitch. We're gonna do 3 initial yarn overs. Okay, so let me start over. We did the chain 3 after we joined with the slip stitch. First initial yarn over right here, go into your stitch, pull up a loop, and pull it up to the length of your chain. Okay, you're going to do that again, the second initial yarn over, which is to me, the initial yarn over is the first one that you do before you go into the stitch, not after. So here's 2, insert the hook, pull up and make it as long as the rest, and here's the third initial yarn over. Excuse me, go into the stitch and pull up a loop. So we have 3 initial yarn overs, right? So the next step is she wants you to yarn over again. You're going to do another 3 initial yarn overs, but you're going to do it in the second stitch here. You're not going to go back in this one. We're going to work in this stitch right here, okay? So you're going to initial yarn over 1, go into that stitch, draw up a loop, always making them the length the same. Initial yarn over 2, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, and initial yarn number 3, yarn over number 3, go into the stitch and pull up a loop. Okay, so that's 3 and 3. We did 3 in this stitch and 3 in that stitch. Okay, So yarn over and go through all the loops on the hook. At this point, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this one is very important. The first one, you want to make it as tight as you can possibly make it, okay? And then the last two, you can make them a little bit longer or looser if you want, okay? But this one is the one that's going to make your flower more puffy because you're cinching it together, okay? So after we do the chain 3, you're going to yarn over, initial yarn over number 1. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not going to yarn over. You're going to do chain 3, and then you're going to go with the slip stitch into this very next stitch here. So we worked here and here, so we're going to slip stitch in the next stitch that's available. Slip stitch. Now you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and now here's the initial yarn over number 1. Remember, the initial yarn over for me is the yarn over before you go into your stitch, okay? So this is initial yarn over 1. Insert your hook, draw up a loop. Initial yarn over 2. Insert your hook, draw up a loop. Initial yarn over 3. Insert your hook, draw up a loop. So that's 3. Now you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to move over to the next stitch. Initial yarn over 1. Go into your stitch, draw up a loop. Initial yarn over 2, insert your hook, draw up a loop. Initial yarn over 3, insert your hook, draw up a loop. After you do those 2 stitches, 1 and 2, with 3 initial yarn overs each, you're going to yarn over and go through all the loops on your hook. Okay, remember this one, you want it kind of tight. There's chain number 1, 2, and 3. Join with the slip stitch to the next stitch that's there, and do a slip stitch. Okay, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you're going to start with the chain 3 and you're going to end with the chain 3. Okay, so you have chain 3 here and chain 3 here. Okay, again, we did our chain 3. Initial yarn over 1. Remember, the initial yarn over is before you go into your stitch. Here's 1. Go into that stitch where the slip stitch is at. Draw up a loop. Make it as long as your chain 3. Initial yarn over 2. Go into that same stitch. Draw up a loop. Initial yarn over 3. Go into that same stitch. Draw up a loop. Okay, so we had 3 initial yarn overs. You're going to go into the next stitch and do the same thing. Initial yarn over 1, go into the stitch, draw up a loop. Initial yarn over 2, go into the stitch, draw up a loop. And initial yarn over number 3, go into that stitch, draw up a loop, and yarn over, and now go through all the loops on your hook. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and join with the slip stitch to the next stitch over. There we go. So one more time, you're going to chain 3, start off with the chain 3. You're going to do initial yarn over, go into that same slip stitch where your chain 3 is at, draw up a loop, initial yarn over number 2, into the stitch, draw up a loop. Initial yarn over number 3, go into your stitch, draw up a loop. Okay, now you're going to move over to the next stitch and do the same thing. 1, draw up a loop. 2, draw up a loop. 3, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all the stitches. And you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, join with your slip stitch to that next stitch, which is going to be this one right here. Join me for part 2 to finish out this little flower.